Today's episode is really exciting. If you're a broker running an independent brokerage, we're pulling back the curtain on what it looks like running a brokerage independently and what it looks like after aligning with eXp Realty. My guest today is an entrepreneur, real estate strategist, a coach, and co-founder of one of the fastest growing international organizations at eXp Realty. But before eXp, she built one of the most well-respected independent brokerages in the Sierra Foothills, along with several other successful companies. She merged that brokerage with eXp to scale faster and create more opportunity for her agents. And today, she helps those agents and brokers grow bigger and work with less stress through strategic planning, branding, and high-level mentorship. Oh, and she's also my business partner, my co-founder of Now Nation, and my bestie. Please welcome Courtney Twiss.
Yay, I'm so excited to be on here with you.
So fun, right?
Yeah, it's always fun to record with your bestie.
It's a little different. We're usually doing podcast recordings. And so this is unique being on Beyond the Commission. So
yes.
Take us back. How long did you run your independent brokerage before finally aligning with, I say finally, because you never ever considered doing that, aligning with eXp?
I had my independent brokerage, I believe it was about 12 years running it independently before deciding to make the big move.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, so 12 years is quite a run. And I guess I want to paint the picture a little bit for everyone. So at the peak as an independent brokerage, how many agents were under your roof? And tell us a little bit about, the structure and what everything looked like, production. Oh my goodness. Speaking of which, I remember when you first started, I helped Courtney along the way, probably 10 of the 12 years. Remember when we first were starting, it was like the goal was like 25,000. Remember?
I think you're thinking of 25 million.
I mean, million. I'm sorry.
Our sales volume for the year
25 million.
for the whole brokerage. And it was I had this whiteboard with the palm tree drawn on it because I was going to take everyone on a trip if we reached it. And I would just color it in, and each agent was a different color. That was fun. Yeah, it was fun.
Okay, so anyway, tell us about where it went.
Yeah. So I started out small with the brokerage. Literally when our third daughter was 6 weeks old is when I decided to go ahead and start Twiss Realty, which was a little crazy timing, I guess. Right. But I had a big goal in mind that my husband and I, Jared, wanted to build a house on our dream property that we bought. And so I knew that I needed to step it up, make some money, but I also already recognized after being in real estate for a long time that there was a lot of value in leverage. And so I didn't want to be, the number one agent in my county. I worked on teams, well, not traditional teams, but with partners with other moms for a lot of my career. And I thought, well, running it as my own brokerage, I think is going to be the way to go. I didn't hire a lot of agents right off the bat. It just sort of, actually, you came into my world through a lender, right? Saying, hey, that Courtney needs some help. And I was like, I don't know what help I need, but yes, I'm kind of drowning right now. And we started working together. And then all of a sudden, agents started coming to me wanting to work with us. And so it grew organically at first and kind of slowly just because my girls were so young. I think it was 2020, I had a call from Julie Gherkin, who is one of the number one top producing agents in our market. And she's like, I want to come work with you and I want you to open up a second office. And I'm like, wait, what? This was not on my radar. I don't know if I want to do that. And she's very persuasive. And I did open the second office, quickly shut the doors very briefly because of COVID, literally a month later. And then, of course, it ended up being our strongest years, like for so many people in real estate. And from there, we ended up opening a third office a year later. And I think our max were right around 50 agents, including administrative staff under the 3 office roof.
What was the highest year for sales? 165?
I was going to say 160 million, maybe
Yeah.
165 million, I believe was our best year for sales volume. And I do not remember off the top of my head how many transactions that was, but yeah, that would be, and we performed right around that level for a number of
Mm-hmm.
years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Winning like
busy.
best brokerage of the year. You won best broker in Central California by the Fresno Bee. I mean, accolades. It's so funny when you said, it just made sense to just start my own brokerage. It's like we hear that all the time. I'll just do my own thing, right?
Yeah, yeah. Well, you think too, oh, I'll keep 100% of the money. Why do I want to pay a split to someone when I can just do it myself? That was my train of thought. On
Okay.
top of that, I
Yeah.
knew that I just wanted to have my own company. My husband runs another company that we have. My parents were self-employed for
Mhm.
some of my childhood. It's sort of in my blood to be an entrepreneur.
Mhm.
But the reality of that is often quite different than the fantasy of that.
Mhm. Well, let's talk about that, because the other thing that you were doing really well is you were really kind of stepping out of production. So
Right.
you were building this organization and your team, I remember you giving away business to your team. You were really leading into being a leader, and it was really fun to watch. But let's talk about it's not all cracked up to be. Let's talk about those
Right.
monthly expenses. Hmm?
Well, I think it started with exactly what you're talking about. Like, one, I knew I wanted to get off the treadmill, as we like to say,
Yeah.
right? So when you're a high producing agent, you can make, excuse my French, but a shit ton of money, right? But you're
Mhm.
working your butt off, and you really, that won't ever end, right? Like, as soon as
Mhm.
someone stops calling you, you have no money coming in. So you
Mhm.
either start a team or at least get some really good support,
Mhm.
or brokerage route, which is the route that I went. And then once I started growing into other brick and mortar locations, I realized, oh, wow, I need managers. I
Mhm.
can't really manage 3 locations in 3
Mhm.
different cities myself. And I need a leadership team, and I need help with the marketing, and we need admin for each of these offices. So all of a sudden, the overhead is growing drastically.
Rapidly.
And our margins are just shrinking and shrinking and shrinking. And, yes, I did exit production, which was difficult to do, but it was exciting as well. But on the
Mhm.
flip side, I also kind of went about it the wrong way in retrospect. I now know. And I really cannibalized, I don't want to say cannibalized my own sales, but a lot of leads that had come to me were trained to go to my team because they were really strong representations of
The
how I
brand and
ran
you.
my
Yeah.
business. Right. And so instead, I should have held on to that a little bit more and been a little more
Selfish.
thoughtful on how I distributed those leads and what
Mhm.
those margins would look
Mhm.
like. And
Mhm.
so when I made the decision, which I will probably dive into more, but to move over to eXp, it was an opportunity to completely restructure my business in a way that
Mhm.
made a lot more sense, both financially and in respect to my time, and to be able
Mhm.
to just do those things that I'm really good at, that I enjoy doing, the whole rich dad, poor dad quadrant. Like,
Mhm.
I wanted to be up in the right quadrant,
Mhm.
working on the things that that no one else can really do besides
Mhm.
me. And
Mhm.
it's allowed me to do a lot of things and follow my
Mhm.
passions a little bit more, which I just did not have the time, the
Mhm.
capacity, the energy to do
Mhm.
previously when I was
Mhm.
managing the beast.
Well, speaking of the beast, I mean, there are so many things about what I watched you go through. One was building independent brokerage and creating a comp structure that could
Mhm.
be competitive and attractive to retain and get new agents. And that
Mhm.
was a consistent battle. And then
Mhm.
also the training and all that goes into everything that your agents need to know. Everything really, it was on you and your small leadership team. But
Mhm.
I want to just touch on the comp structure, because it was, for the most part, very difficult as an independent broker to offer a competitive comp structure. Can you speak to that?
Yeah, absolutely. So I offered a traditional model, which was what I had before I opened my own brokerage, right? So a lot of my agents were tiered. You start out here. Once you reach this level, then you move up. And then once you reach that level, you move up to say 80/20, and no caps, right? No caps. We had a CFO that we had hired that was helping us build out a whole new comp structure around what that would look like if we did have caps, and how much volume each of our offices would need to do in order to make that profitable. And it's a lot of agents. And I was in that, I forget, there's a term around it. I don't want to say like the death zone, but like when you're in that 30 to 50, 60 agent range, it is probably one of the most difficult areas for a broker to be in, because you still have to offer so much to your agents, and yet there's just not enough profit to really make it worthwhile. So therefore you're having to do production, or you're having to get ancillary products like project
Property
management or
management.
lending or title or whatever it might be, in order to literally carry the brokerage through. So yeah, it was difficult. And ultimately I had kept it at a traditional comp, but I saw the writing on the wall, and we're competing with brokerages with caps. And it was difficult, but I can see why indies have to have it that way, because there's just not enough meat on the bone.
I mean, you absolutely understand more than most people, I think, for sure. Was there a specific number that you were looking at that was shrinking? Was it your profit? Was it just the forecast for 6 to 12 months out? What was it that was like, enough's enough?
I was completely burnt out. I think that's a big part of it. And like, just recognizing there's not enough value in what I am doing to make this worthwhile, worth being exhausted and literally going to offices to sit in it. So someone's there, because none of my agents are really there. So I'm driving. I remember driving through a snowstorm because I had to go to Clovis. It was a new office. And I was like, it's fine weather down there, but I got to get off the mountain. And then I'm like, what the hell am I doing? I could be home with my kids right now. And I'm not making enough of a profit to make this worthwhile. On top of that, yes, I could definitely see that the market was going a different direction. And I felt like what I was doing was antiquated and not the direction that our market was going to go. And I am the type of personality, which you know as my bestie, I like change. I feel like there's a lot of opportunity out there. I want to be able to take advantage of it when I want to, and I don't want to have to make a change because I have to make a change. I want to make a change before I have to make a change and be proactive. And I remember, I don't know how many years ago, when all the little rumors started coming in about the NAR. This was before the NAR settlement. And I thought, what's that going to mean for me as independent broker? And I called our car legal team, and they didn't know anything about it. And they're like, oh, I don't know. I think you're going to be fine. And I'm like, am I? And I could just see, like, that was one example of how the tide was turning. And sure enough, less than a year after I moved over to eXp, the settlement happened. And I was thinking, thank you, Lord, that I don't have to figure all this out by myself and have 50 people coming to me for answers on something so new to everyone. Because eXp they were very proactive. And I like that about eXp. They're always trying to get ahead of things and be the first and be very tech forward and collaborative. And so anyway, it was just a really good fit, and it liberated me almost immediately.
I remember how you were feeling all those months. You were like physically having neck problems, and it was a massive journey that you went through, and it was difficult for sure. I know the decision to go to eXp was one that was not on your radar. And I know, you ultimately made the decision based on a connection that you made through Vistage. But let's just jump right into, you made the decision, and it took some time. You're now with eXp over 2 years, two and a half years. Yeah, it's been 2.5 years. What's life look like now?
It looks pretty good. I'm going to say it looks pretty good, right? I had to have my own learning curve, just like anyone. When you make a move or when you bring a brokerage over, there's going to be hurdles that you're going to overcome. Not everybody's going to buy in that's in your group. And you're going to realize, what rooms do I want to be in and who do I want them to be in the rooms with me?
Yeah, for sure.
And I would say now my world has opened up. I live in a small town. I was very much a big fish in a very small pond, and now I am a small fish in a very big pond, which is very humbling, but exactly what I wanted. And I have met so many amazing people that just have stellar careers, are amazing coaches, just doing things that I want to do. And it all feels very possible. I'm speaking on stages, I'm coaching AI or hosting AI courses, I'm coaching other realtors, all the things that I wanted to tap into and that I knew I would enjoy, be good at, that I couldn't do before. So I guess I would just say, it's just, for lack of a better word, it's very liberating. I have a small production team that helps work the leads that I bring in from my brand. I don't do any online leads, so that overhead's not there. And I was able to Icon, which is eXp's top producer program. So I brokered all my business for $5,000 last year and built an organization to about 100 agents. So it feels very doable. And I'm really excited for the next few years of all that I have coming, which is exciting because for a while there, I was like, oh, what's it going to be like next year? How long can I hang on? And now I'm like, what else can I do? Where else can I go? Who else wants to do it with me? And it's a lot of fun.
I feel like there's so much excitement and so much that's going on in your world since coming to eXp. But for the broker that's listening right now, that's maybe not as driven as you, that maybe isn't as much like the person that's leaning into all of those things. One of the things I think that was possible for you then and for that broker is you can still just be the independent person, team lead, business owner under the eXp brand, right? And have that sense of freedom and liberation, but not necessarily have to go do all the things. You know what I mean? Like I think there's part of that that's like, man, what if you would have done that 10 years ago? And just
Yes. And I do think about that a lot. For one, my revenue share income would be amazing if I started this sooner.
Right.
However, I needed to learn those lessons and I needed to get this experience and the knowledge. So my path, it went exactly how it probably should have.
Yes.
And yes, if you don't want to go speak on a stage, if you don't want to host AI courses or coach, you don't have to.
No.
eXp, I did a ton of research before I came over, and I loved the autonomy that it allows you to have. And at first, when I was first making the move over, I thought, well, my local market, I'm just going to continue to leverage the Twiss Realty name, and then there'll be eXp there, but like it's really going to be Twiss, and they won't really know the difference because that's allowed, right? You can continue to just leverage your own brand and just have eXp as support, as a platform, if I guess, for lack of a better word. Well, what I realized, like not too long afterwards, is it actually helped me have the eXp international branding along with my local. So now it's like I get more listings because I'm a local expert with a global reach. And so it's Twiss Realty and eXp, not Twiss Realty or eXp or whatever local brokerage or eXp. It's an and. It's an and there's a ton of broker support. It doesn't all have to come to me. So I think we're up to 15 brokers in the California broker room now that my team can go to, my organization can go to. It doesn't all have to come to me. So it's just been, it's like I'm running my brokerage without having all the liability, all the responsibility, and all the capital investment that I had before.
And all the training. I mean,
There's 80 hours a week plus our organization. And so it's great.
Okay. So speaking of our organization, before we wrap up, our organization, Now Nation, let's talk about the numbers specific to what your business looks like now. I mean, at your peak with Twiss Realty as an independent brokerage, you had 50 agents. underneath that umbrella, and 3 offices. What does Now Nation look like for you now?
You know what? That's a good question. I actually should look up what our sales volume for the entire organization was, because I was looking at my production team, which is a whole different thing because it's basically my own numbers.
Yeah.
But I mean, we're significantly higher than where we were with Twiss Realty, with Now Nation, right? And we're in 6 states, I believe, currently. So what that means is that we're able to leverage different markets, because not every market is the same. Some are hopping, some are slower. So it's nice to diversify that. So like I had mentioned, sitting at right below 100 agents, and they are like us. They're like-minded. They're growth-oriented. Our average agent production is 6.84 deals per agent, which is drastically higher than the average for an agent, right? I mean, what was it? 70% last year to 0, and ours are doing almost 7. So I feel pretty good about that, because it's like, you want to surround yourself with people that are making things happen. That's what we have in Now Nation, hands down.
And I think it wasn't what we had at Twiss, because
it was absolutely not what we had.
It was like, you had the, I hate to say it, but it's like you had the 1% doing a lot, and you had the middle of the bunch doing not a whole lot, and then the bunch doing nothing, right? So it was
for
like,
sure. And that's how a lot of brokerages are, right?
100%.
Small percentage doing most of the business.
So you look at our organization, and it's really exciting. It's so exciting.
Yes.
And then
it's a lot of fun.
It's a lot of fun. And we have so many exciting things to come. And it's been just such a blessing and an honor to do this with you, because before I was just sitting there going, Twiss Realty, and really helping you build your business and your brand. And now I get to sit alongside you and build Now Nation. And I think, on a closing note, I want you to speak directly to the independent broker that's listening to this right now, whether they've been in business for 10, 20 years or thinking about starting an independent brokerage. What would you say to them?
I would just say that a sign of a good leader is one that is curious, right? So don't be afraid to be curious. It doesn't hurt to ask questions. It doesn't hurt to have a call with Michelle or I or whoever, and just see what is out there, what might work for me. And we don't know if it's going to work for you. We know it worked for us. It might not work for you, but you won't know unless you're open-minded. And I think that's a sign of a good leader. And I would challenge you to be a good leader, not only for your people, but for yourself and your families, because there comes a time sometimes in our careers where we're doing things just because that's what we've always been doing. And that doesn't necessarily mean it's the right move for you and your family for what's coming ahead. And you won't know unless you ask questions and find out what's out there.
Okay. So for that broker that wants to ask questions and talk to you directly, how can they find you?
I would say Instagram. I have All Things Twiss would be a great way to reach out. You can DM. Or we have so OUR, ournownation.com, where you can get in touch with Michelle and I directly.
All right. Well, thank you, Courtney. I appreciate your time today. And every single week on Tuesday, I drop a new episode of Beyond the Commission. So be sure to subscribe. And thanks again.
Thanks, Michelle. Appreciate it.
You're a good agent, maybe a great one. But if commission's it, there's a ceiling, then what? You already know it. You feel that wall, one check can't build what you really want.